Okay, apps I use, revised edition for June 2015. I did a similar video a while back. I didn't cover all of these applications though. Today we're going to try to cover a lot more of them. This is, I don't know, 20th take or something like that. My screencast application isn't working quite right. But I don't mean the fact that you're just seeing a little window with bars on either side. You may be seeing a full screen if you're viewing this on a phone, but if you're viewing it on anything else, it's probably going to look like I have the phone tilted wrong. I don't have it. It doesn't matter which way I tilt it. It's just how the screencast application on this phone works. It's nice that this phone has a built-in screencast application, but at the same time, it's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm checking right now to make sure it's still recording because it's also crashed a couple times. So the Yosemite app, we're not going to open that, but let me mention that all of the more popular national parks have applications and lots of good info on their websites. National parks and state parks both have a lot of resources out there to learn more about them. Wild camping spots. This app is that didn't sound right when I said it. I've got allergies and my nose is kind of plugged up. This doesn't work anymore. The developer stopped maintaining it, but it was a great idea. You could go on here, you could click add a new spot, pick from map, you load up an area, you drop a pin, little dialog box pops up, and the user's filled in the dialogue. If you dropped a pin here because you're camping here and there's a nice campsite, you could drop a pin and it would give you an option to add all the information for that. The name, the directions, how many days, if you know how many days that district gives, whether or not there's cell signal, whatever info you wanted to put in, because it was a user-populated database. And it, was supposed to be for the whole country or even the world, but somehow it never took off. I think the developer of this app should have charged $1 or $2. That way he would have made some money at it. It would have been worth his while. I may eventually take an app development class and start something similar. If anybody who's watching this knows how to develop apps, I know that Google Map-based pin dropping apps are about the simplest apps out there. So somebody's got to know how to do this. Get on it, and I'll even, I'll help you populate a bunch of campgrounds for the database, at least in the areas I've been to and the ones I know, and I can spread word of the app through a few other sources. And we need something like this. We need something where people can just go on the internet real easy and say, look, here's a boondocking spot. It worked for me on such and such a date. Then other people can come along and read it and see how long ago it was added, see when the most recent update was, change information to more current information if they choose, and even maybe leave some kind of reviews of the people leaving the information. So, if you go to a camp spot and you see Joe Blow 29 left this spot, and you've been to a spot left by Joe Blow 29 before, then you know that, this guy's spots are good. And if somebody gets a bunch of bad reviews because they're leaving bad information, then we know not to trust those people. It's all pretty simple. That's not what this video is about. I kind of went off on a side thing here, but hopefully somebody watching this will understand what I'm talking about and make an application like that, damn it. Okay, before I have to do it and make my lazy ass actually do something. Wi-Fi Finder. Kind of self-explanatory. You click it, it opens up a map. It'll show you free Wi-Fi or usable Wi-Fi signals in your area. All stays overnight parking, all stays truck and travel, and a couple of other all stays apps that I have on here. You don't need to buy any Allstays app besides Camp and RV. The Allstays Camp and RV has all of the other apps built into one, and you just play with the filter options to decide what you want to find. TV Antenna Helper. This is one of my favorite apps. Let me check, make sure we're still recording here. It looks like it. First, it figures out where you're at using your internet or your GPS. And then it figures out how many signals there are, television signals. You can view it on a map and see your location and see the location of the towers. But the easiest way to use this is to click View on Compass. When you click View on Compass, you might see these little colored letters up here for the networks. My phone is rotating, which you can't tell, but you can probably see the numbers rotating. Those numbers will always be pointing towards the television tower. So this helps me when I pull into a place to determine, one, if there are any TV signals, and two, which direction to point my antenna to find those TV signals. Urban Spoon is quite sort of similar to Yelp. I'm not going to go into either of those. I really like Yelp. It helps me find, look at reviews and figure out where I'm going to eat and shop when I go to a town. I have a geocaching app on here. That is a really fun thing to do when you're out camping. I'm going to probably do a video on that pretty soon, so we won't go too into that right now here. The Weather Channel, yeah, everybody should have Weather Channel. Speed test can be useful. Translate, if you're going to a different country, or even down in southern states, sometimes the border states, Translate could come in helpful. Let's see here. Scanner radio. There's probably 100 different scanner applications out there. It doesn't really matter which one you have, but if you're doing a lot of boondocking, there's a good chance that you're going to be in fire-prone areas. And if that's the case, if you see smoke rising or hear helicopters coming in or air tankers or you know, anything suspicious, flip on the scanner radio and you can get some information on, you know, where the fire is, if there are evacuations, and who knows what other kind of emergency situations could arise when that could come in helpful. And if you're just really bored, you can listen to what's going on in the police bands. There's another All-Stays app. Like I said, you don't really need all of those All-Stays apps. Satellite AR. I don't have a satellite right now. I've debated getting DirecTV. I've also been thinking about getting satellite internet. If you have a satellite, you know what a pain in the ass it can be to set it up every time you get to a new spot. With this app, you click the type of satellite you're trying to hook up, in this case DirecTV, and it like has a whole map of the sky from your position in Earth, and it shows you which direction to point your satellite dish in. So if my satellite dish was pointing right here at DirecTV, then I know that's where I want to point the dish to pick up DirecTV. Kind of self-explanatory, but that one's come in real helpful. Radar Now Classic, I really like that because I like to watch the radar maps. I can kind of predict for myself how a storm's going to hit by watching it on the radar maps. Parallel Kingdom is a really cool location-based game. Anyone can figure it out, but the further you get into it, the more complex it gets. It's never complicated. I just mean complex as in there are so many different levels. There's your interaction with other real players because it's a multiplayer game. My favorite part about it, and the reason I mention it in this video, is it's location-based. So the map the game uses is based on Google Maps. If I go to one of my favorite camping spots and I turn on that game and I click Locate Me, it'll relocate my character to that exact spot on the map. And then I can take over that territory by dropping a flag. Now, of course, there's thousands, millions, well, not millions, but there's hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of players. There's a lot of frickin' people that play it. And there's a lot of competition out there for flag spots. You can try to destroy their flags and plant your own in place, but they can retaliate. And so it's just like any other game. It has so many levels to the gameplay. But if you do a lot of traveling, you may find it interesting just because of the fact that it's location-based. Network discovery is another for finding Wi-Fi. It shows Wi-Fi signals close and shows you which direction they're coming from, so you know which direction to point your thing. My data manager, if you're living on the road, you probably got limited data. Either they're going to cut you off, throttle you, or raise your price, raise your monthly bill at some point, depending on which kind of plan you're on. And that puts a widget right on my home page that constantly shows me how much data I'm using. So that makes it really easy for me to keep track of the data. Between Google Maps and MapQuest, I usually use Google Map for most everything, but MapQuest readily, more easily shows businesses and restaurants, auto parts stores, grocery stores, Walmart, stuff like that. So every once in a while, I will scout a town out with MapQuest before I go there, just so I can see what they got and see if there's anything I want to check out while I'm there. OpenSignal is another cool one. We'll get to it in a minute. In the meantime, we're going to go back here to my favorite weather app, which is NOAA Weather. The NOAA Weather app allows you to drop a pin. And wherever you drop the pin, it will give you a detailed forecast for that specific location. So let's go right next to where I'm at right now, and we'll look at this weather forecast. It says for today, I'm going to predict 94. Wow, right on, 94. Okay. Now if we go not even 2 miles away on top of this mountain and click to get a weather forecast there, which could be where I'm camping, well, that says 94 too. I didn't get that result earlier. Maybe I didn't go on the top of the mountain this time. Huh. That was weird. There we go. That should put us up top of the mountain. And it should give us a different forecast from what we got down here on the valley floor. I don't know. I did this earlier and it showed 10 degrees cooler, and it is 10 degrees cooler up on top of that mountain. But maybe I don't have my pin dropped in exactly the right spot. But the whole point of this is you can get a specific weather forecast for your specific location. Something's wrong right now. It doesn't normally take this long to load. This little valley I live in, when I'm not traveling, the internet is shitty up here. It's really, really shitty. Like really, really shitty. Like you don't even know how shitty our internet is. And on these weekends during the summer, when all these people come up from Bakersfield and Los Angeles, it just clogs up our lines, and our shitty internet suddenly becomes diarrhea shitty internet. No, it's more like constipated internet, because it ain't moving. It ain't going nowhere. I'm lucky it's loading these pins at all. Okay, anyways, yeah, the NOAA Weather app is really good. Even like down in Bakersfield, normally you get one forecast for the whole city. I was down there earlier this winter, and I got a different forecast for East Bakersfield than I did from the southwest, because there was fog in the southwest, and there was no fog on the east side. So you can look up, the nearest city and get a weather forecast. But if you're camping way back here in the boonies, somewhere, what the heck are you going to put in for a city? They're going to give you maybe Shirley Meadows, but that's a different elevation, and this will give you an actual accurate forecast for wherever you happen to be. Let's see here. Don't want to forget OpenSignal. I already showed you guys View Ranger, so there's no point showing you guys Backcountry Navigator. It's pretty similar. The Hot Springs app, there's one for Washington and Oregon. There's one for California. There's also one for several other states, which I haven't been to yet, so I haven't bothered downloading the app. If we click on that, it's just like most of these others. It's a map-based application with pins that are dropped. By clicking on these pins, you can get more information. It'll tell you whether or not you can camp. You can look at pictures, kind of get an idea what the place looks like before you get there. You can see right here in the background, there's somebody camping right back there. And then this app can also give you GPS navigation. Usually it shows the main route in and the alternative route if there is a route. And the type of use, land it is, it's public. If you do much hot springing, that's an invaluable app, but it actually is valued. It has a value of like $20 or something. Probably the most expensive app I've ever bought. It might have been 25, or maybe they were 10 each. Maybe that's what it was. I can't remember. Either way, I remember I paid some money for that, but it was totally worth it. I've gotten my money's worth out of that a million times over. Gas Buddy, everybody's used Gas Buddy, right? We don't got to go into that one. I'm not going to do Geocache right now. That's a fun app that well, we'll do a whole video about that. Okay, let's do Gas Buddy real quick. I'm going to run this so long that my screencast app is going to freeze and I'm going to lose the video again. You click Find Gas Near Me. It brings up a list of stations. You can also view them on a map, if that's better for you. Then when you click the station, it gives you an option to report prices. You don't have to get that into it, but if you would like to, you can report the prices for your gas station and earn points, which can be used to enter a drawing. Every day they give away a $100 gas card. That's an incentive for people to report the prices. Works out good for everybody. Cal Parks, I believe most states have a Parks app, but I know California State Parks definitely has one. It has a list of all the different California state parks. You can click on them and see all of the some pictures and all the specifics and details and numbers to call and fees and all of that good information. Here's the All Stays Camp and RV. This is the only All Stays app you need. With All Stays Camp and RV, you've got your Walmart already built in. You've got your shopping businesses built in. And you don't have to buy the rest area app because that's built into the filters. If you were looking for the truck and travel app, you don't need that because that's built in here under the filters. Your Walmarts, just about anything you want, it's all built into this one app. Even dump stations, you've got that option on here, and you can click these filters on and off as you go, so that you don't have too many. Because if you have too many pins on here, it can only load so many at a time, and if you zoom out too far, over zoom limit, there's too many pins, it can't handle it. So anyway, let's jump out of here. I think we're just about done with this. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, it looks like I've got just about all the apps covered. I don't have Droid TV on my phone. That's on my tablet. I went over that in another video. It's the best solution I've found for watching your programs on the road. It's like $12 for 3 months, so it works out to like $4 a month. And you can buy a lifetime membership, which is what I have. That's an even better deal, but of course it costs more up front. I've used it for at least 4 years now with no problem. Has all the shows that are on network or cable. Usually you can find them the next day on Droid TV, usually within 24 hours. And the nice thing about it is you can download those shows directly to the memory on your tablet or the SD card on your tablet or phone and watch them whenever, wherever, even if you don't have a cellular signal. If you're interested, it's not always in the Google Play market. You can go to the Droid TV Primetime Users Group on Facebook and find the information there for how to sign up. I recently learned that they have something called Win TV, which works the same way, except it's for Windows computers. I may have to test that out soon because my tablet only has 32 plus 16. My tablet doesn't have that much storage, but my computer's got like 500 gigabytes. So I could download a lot more programming onto the computer than I can on my tablet. Usually I don't need that much storage, but sometimes when I go on these really long trips and I'm not near Wi-Fi for any length of time, and I don't have a TV signal, I can go through a lot of shows in a really short time, and then I find myself parking in a McDonald's for a couple hours to download a couple days worth of shows or something like that. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But it's worth it too, if you really want something to do, especially in the winter when it's too cold to go out. Yeah. So here's this OpenSignal. Earlier it was showing 4 right there. Right now it's showing 1. That's how many towers you are currently picking up signal from, cellular towers. I'm at 3.5G. That's not because of the phone. That's because of the plan that I have. That's just the most my plan will allow. If you click this application, the widget, damn it, it'll open up the app. And I don't know if you see that arrow. The arrow's not actually moving. It's my phone that's moving. Although I don't know if you can discern that over the video. But wherever that arrow is pointing shows me the cellular tower that I'm getting my best signal off of. So this shows me, where to walk in my motorhome or my campsite and have my phone facing if I'm picking up a weak signal, which direction I want to point it to get the best signal. So I guess that's it. You guys, here's the application that shows what my current data usage is at. We weren't actually trying to go into that. I'm sure I probably missed a couple of applications. If there's something out there that I didn't think of, that I forgot to mention, then somebody please leave a comment and let me know. It seems there's new apps coming out all the time, more than any one person can keep track of. So if there's anything out there that you guys are using that you find helpful in your travels, please feel free to post it in the comments, and maybe I'll do another video like this, the revised edition, like next fall or something, and add even more apps that I've found and that you guys have suggested. Do whatever you want. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. And if you can find an application that makes it easier, then by all means,